Most business sellers think the starting line is the day they hire a broker. It isn't. By the time a broker is involved, the shape of your deal is already being determined by how your financials look, how your business runs without you, how your customer relationships are documented, and a dozen other things the buyers are going to evaluate before they ever make an offer. Buyers and brokers have been through this process many times. Most sellers are doing it for the first time. That experience gap is where sellers get burned, not because they made bad decisions, but because they didn't know what decisions they were making until it was too late to fix them. Here are the 6 phases of a business sale, what actually happens in each one, and what it costs you if you show up unprepared. Phase 1, preparation. This is where your leverage is actually set, not at the table, not in the negotiation, here. Cleaning up your financials, reducing owner dependency, documenting your operations, getting your legal house in order. Ideally, this starts 12 to 24 months before you go to market. Here's what happens when sellers skip it or compress it into a few weeks before listing. Buyer finds messy financials and due diligence. 3 years of P&Ls that don't reconcile cleanly with tax returns. Nothing fraudulent, just inconsistent. Buyer's CPA flags it. Seller spends 3 weeks explaining. Buyer comes back with a $175,000 price reduction citing financial risk. That reduction was preventable. 12 months of clean bookkeeping would have closed it. Phase 2, positioning. This is where you decide how to present your business to the market and who you're presenting it to. A financial buyer, private equity, a search fund is looking for something completely different than an individual operator or strategic acquirer. How you position determines who shows up. Who shows up determines what you're offered. This is also where the broker decision happens. A good broker running a competitive process can get you meaningfully more than you'd get on your own. A transactional broker who's running 40 listings at once will push your deal toward close the fastest, not the best. That's a decision to make deliberately, not because hiring a broker feels like the next obvious step. Subscribe if this is landing. This whole course is free. It's called Exit Ready, and it's built for exactly this, making sure you know what you're walking into before you're already in it. Phase 3, buyer conversations. This phase is where unprepared sellers give away leverage they don't realize they had. Buyer asks what your timeline is. Seller says they'd like to close before the end of the year for personal reasons. That one sentence told the buyer there's urgency, and urgency is leverage for them. Every question a buyer asks in early conversations is information gathering. Sellers who haven't prepared for these conversations answer in ways that reveal their position before the real negotiation even starts. Phase 4, the LOI. The letter of intent is where a buyer puts their offer in writing. Most sellers treat it as a stepping stone to the real contract. It's not. The LOI sets the price, the structure, the exclusivity period, and the timeline, and everything that goes into the financial contract gets negotiated against those anchors. Sellers who sign an LOI without fully understanding what they've agreed to spend the next 3 months trying to negotiate back terms they already gave away. And exclusivity. Once you sign an LOI, you're locked out of talking to other buyers for 30, 60, or 90 days, maybe longer. That's not a formality. That's leverage the buyer just took off the table. Phase 5, due diligence. This is where deals fall apart. Not because the business isn't good, but because the gaps that could have been fixed in phase 1 are now being discovered by a buyer who's looking for reasons to pay you less. Sellers who weren't prepared for this scrutiny end up defending their business instead of closing their deal. Phase 6, final contract and close. This is where the legal and financial risk that most sellers don't see coming gets locked in. Representations and warranties, statements you made about your business that survive closing and can be used against you for 12 to 24 months after the deal is done. Non-competes that restrict what you can do next, indemnification clauses that determine who pays when something goes wrong post-close. Sellers who don't understand what they're walking into walk away from the closing table thinking it's over. It's not always over. Here's the takeaway from all 6 phases. Your outcome at phase 6 is almost entirely determined by what you did or didn't do in phase 1. The sellers who close deals they're genuinely satisfied with are the ones who treated this as a process from the beginning, not an event, not something that starts when you hire a broker. A process with 6 stages, each one building on the one before it. Before you move on, be honest with yourself about where you're actually at right now. Not where you want to be, where you are. Which phase are you in? What's complete? What isn't? That answer tells you exactly what to work on next. The Exit Ready Vault has the pre-sale planner with the full phase-by-phase checklist so you can map your current position and build a clear preparation plan from here. The link is in the description. In the next video, I'm covering deal structure, asset sales, stock sales, membership interest sales, because the type of deal you agree to has a major tax implication. And buyers will push you towards the structure that benefits them, not you.